Hey everybody, how's it all going? It's been a while since I've had time to sit down and put a motor together, but I've done a bunch of prep work to get this motor together. And this is a numbers match 327 to a car out of state. And it's got some interesting things to it. Got the oil pan there cleaned and painted. And been a while since I ran the camera, and here's the block and the heads, and here's a view that I thought I'd show you guys that not many get to see, is with the heads on. And it's kind of cool looking down in there to see where your heads sit over the cylinders, where you could unshroud in that, but like right down there it's pretty good. But if you look at this cylinder, that one's pretty close to being right on the cylinder edge. So, but yep, and these are 041 heads. And let's see, what else? Well, here, let me get the camera get the motor repositioned. I'll show you. Okay, there you can see these are the 3947 041 heads. This one's dated F11 of 68. This head is dated F10 of 68. And the block here is dated F18 of 68. So these are all, this is the numbers match motor. And well, the real number that counts is over here, which I'll leave that out. But yeah, there it is. There's the block casting number. And as I pointed out in another show, normally there would be a bolt hole drilled here. You can see all the metals there for your accessory. That would be your alternator hole if it was on that head, and then your AC bracket holes. None of them are drilled on this end, and none of them are drilled on this end. So, okay. Then I got looking closer at the block. Normally the 327s always had that fake looking plug there. Well, this one don't. It's got that. Got those round areas. And if you wanted to put this into an older car that had the front motor mounts, you'd only be able to mount one side of the motor mounts up, because this one and this one didn't get machined. Let's see, that makes me think, oh, the clutch stuff got machined, but and this one also still had the stamp, the solid steel plugs. So yeah, I see. Usually the guy don't take those out because it's a little hard to put those back in. So I guess I'll have to do some checking here. But yeah, there you guys go. This is going to be a nice little motor. I mean, all the other bolt holes are there, and it's got a good cam center, which is a good thing, because then it should be, everything should be centered. But yeah, and these are not for screw-in studs or guide plates. They're just pressed. The cam that's going in there is under what will be required to hold the valves. I mean, hold the rocker arms. I mean, everything's nice and level and straight across, you look. So there's brand new valves, brand new springs, brand new seals, keepers, retainers, everything. The original valves had been worked on at one point, and they were so thin that if you would have faced them, you would have had 16 razors. So it's got a brand new valve train in it, new cam lifters, time chain gear, everything. It's got a set of Keith Black pistons in it that's going in, and I think this is going to be a pretty good running 327. My yellow 327's right there. Had to play shuffle the motor, but here's something that you don't see often, and I want to see how it fits right now. It's fitting pretty good. There's an old bow tie intake that was provided. There's the part number for you guys. And one thing, this intake was almost ruined to the point where it couldn't be saved, and the machinist saved it because somebody went after this aluminum intake. Don't take a power anything to an aluminum intake, because they had this so rounded he almost didn't have enough material left to square off to resurface that intake with. So that's where that's at. So it is a EGR version though, so I'll have to make or find some block offs for those. And yeah, she cleaned up and went 30 over. Yeah, so now I'm ready to roll it upside down, get the cam bearings drove in, fit the camshaft. I gotta start putting galley plugs back in. Thinking of that, I gotta check to see if that one got taken out too. Can we see down through the oil hole? Nope, we don't see light out the other end, so that one didn't get taken out, so I'm gonna have to look down in there. And I may have to knock that one out and spray some carb cleaner down through there just to make sure that's clean. The one up here on the deck is gone. But yeah, I think this is going to turn out to be, even though it's a 68, it must have been the last one of the, well, A, B, C, D. Yeah, it's July 18th of 68. That would have been probably one of the last blocks that was casted with this extra metal up here around the distributor. Because in 69 that was gone. So yeah, this thing came to us in a basket that was tore apart. Well, the heads were off it, some of the pieces were missing. Yeah, so we're getting ready to start putting it together. So I got everything in my little storage thing right there. Go dig out the parts for this particular motor, and we'll be ready to start assembling and bring this to life. Because I've decided motors from now on, they're going to go, well, that's buried back there, on the run stand and be run before they leave here. It's just that simple. I'm done doing that. So they're running before they leave. I guess there's nothing left but do it. Get to it and do it. So let me get some parts and we'll start assembly. Oh, trivia question for you. On putting the motor together, what's the first seals that get put on the motor before you start doing anything? What do you guys think about that? Put your answers down below. Tell me, what seals get put on before you start assembling? That is kind of a cool look down in there. I mean, all that nice shiny new metal, but cam's in and it spins nicely. Yes, it's dry, but there is no drag. So I can take the cam out when I'm ready, but right now I tell you, I've been having some issues with the rear seals for some reason. I don't know why. Well, I know why, because nothing's made like it's used to. So what I'm going to do now is put the cam bearing, yeah, it's getting late. I got to quit for the day, but get the main bearings in, set the crank in. I'm going to put the seal in like I do, and just put the rear main cap on and let that dry overnight. So I've had it happen twice. Seal had turned 90 degrees and the split was up here instead of staying close to here. So that's the game plan there. And like I said, I just cleaned the journals off on the cam to be able to slide it in, because they had that stuff they ship it in and it's an older cam. So clean that off. Bearings are free, good. So she's going together. But anyway, yeah, that's where we're at. So I guess I'm going to add more to this video, so it's going to be over the next couple of days here. So we'll just keep adding to it, and then we'll get her up. Well, if you're watching it, it's already up on the internet. So all right, everybody, stay tuned, or keep on watching. Hey everybody, well, we're back on this motor, and as you can see, the camshaft is in there. Spins nice and free. Very, got her all lubed up. Got a little lube on the rear seal there. Just like I said, I kind of did things different this time. We got the crankshaft all washed down, blowed off. I've been checking sizes. It's good. So I'm going to get this crank in here and get the crank in. And since this one doesn't have the alignment pin, you can't run the bolts down super tight right away, because you got to get in there with a pry bar, screwdriver, or something, and push the crank back and forth to align that rear main cap, since there's no alignment pin for this one. So anyway, we're going to use my Clevelite bearing guard here. So yeah, there we go. And everything's been cleaned. I normally use white lithium grease, but I'm just kind of I've got this stuff. I've been using it, as I've also, that's what the cam's been lubed with. So anyway, I'll get the crankset in and we'll get this thing bolted in. Hey everybody, I'm getting the pistons loaded up right now. As you can see, I got rings in the cylinders. I fit them, checked the ring gap, got them to where I want them, and cam's in to stay, but I gotta take the gear off because I gotta put the three plugs in there. Still gotta do the one right there. The one down under the oil hole under the main cap, that's in. So yep, in the process of cleaning up the valve covers that came with this motor. Hopefully I can get them shiny again, but they were nasty. But and then there's the 041 heads. I've had people tell me the 041s are 64cc. No, they are not. See how right there, that rounds? Those are 68cc heads. And these are 194s. 1.5. And I just realized this would have been a dream motor for me to have, because this motor and I, we're basically the same age exactly. The heads, they're a couple of days before me. Block was a few days after me. So I was born in between the heads being made and this block being made. So that's kind of a funny thing. This would have been the ultimate motor to find and kept for myself, but that belongs to another car. So that's kind of strange that you find something 50 some years later it's just as old as you. So yep, yeah. Anyway, I'm just, like I said, I'm getting them all loaded up. I love that stand. I'll get them loaded with the bearings here too, and then we'll be ready to slide them in. So But anyway, I'm going to keep on going here. Hey everybody, how you doing? Trying something different this time. I'm using the ARP thread sealer. It's non-drying, non-hardening, non-melting. It's just, you know, some stuff technology-wise has changed, got better, so. So we're just coating up the bolts. We're getting really close to having this motor done. And when I do this, I kind of do it in the head bolt order, just to keep the sequence fresh in the mind. And I kind of like the feeling I got with the bolts as I torqued down the other head. The passenger side head's already done, and it seemed like I got a lot better pull down, and I did it in 3 steps. You know, back in the day when you did these old Chevys, they gave you the torque, and that's what you torqued it to. There was no explanation of, oh, torque these head bolts to this, this, and this, and final torque of this. The old instructions in the book were thread sealer, torque them, done. I mean, there's been some guys that have lost their minds over that. But using old factory original parts, but I still stepped it up anyway, so it don't hurt, just extra process. Because once I get the heads on the stay here, then we are going to move on to putting lifters in, timing chain and gear, and then we'll get the intake on, roll her upside down and button up the bottom end. Kind of anxious to hear this fire up. I was watching, there's another YouTuber doing almost the exact same build. How about, wow. And there's a few more things on this motor on TikTok under Shebear Motors. So if you look me up on TikTok, you can see some more. Basically what's on there, just kind of talk about things. There's one we were looking for. Okay. Okay. And yes, for this step, I do. And all the threads were chased, everything was clean, so And then we just start going through. That's the 30 foot-pounds I've got right now. And see if I counted up to 17 before I move on. Yep, 17. I'm going to do this last round. I mean, we're torquing head bolts, that's all it is, and got her set 70. And before you guys go, oh, 65, I looked it up. Prior to 19, well, here's where it says. Prior to cylinder head bolts is 70, footnote 10. 65 starting in 1976, so 1975 and older, the head bolt torque was 70 on the V8 small blocks. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up and then get the lifters, get them lubed up, and we'll get those installed and get the push rods in, and I guess I'll have to do I gotta get the gear changed out on the crank and get the 3 plugs in behind the timing gear, and then we can start setting valves on this. So, alright. Hello again. Yep. There you go. Ain't that a pretty sight? Got all the pistons in the 327 now. Got all the head bolt holes chased. They look nice and shiny now too. They're nice and clean. So yeah, I'm ready to put the driver's side. I'm getting tired. It's been. That's all I'll say is it's been. Anyway, I can put the passenger side head on now, and yeah, I got some parts down there I got to finish washing. I ran them through the hot tank to get most of the oil off, and they did come pretty clean. So, but yeah, that's what I was looking for. Gotta go through and torque everything yet, and double check the rods one more time, but everything so far has been checking out. So alrighty, I see Valpro's kind of changed how they are doing their head gaskets. These are a little different than what I'm used to, but don't mean nothing, so I guess it's kind of a shame we do take the time to make all this stuff look nice and good, and then we cover it up and don't see it again until you tear it apart. So, well, I want to find the passenger side head, get that set on here, and then start moving on to other parts of this motor I got to get done. Hey everybody, yeah, I'm still working on this 327, you know. Good work takes time. Checking push rod length, and they are good. So I'm getting ready to put the rest of the rocker arms on, and the left is all nice and greased up, and once I get these in, I'm pulling this off. You got to drive the 3 plugs in behind there, and change out that gear. Then we put the chain on, timing cover, adjust the valves, and get the intake set on here. So, yep, this is where we're at. So, yeah, I just stuff can be done in a hurry. Stuff can be done. Time's consuming. I mean, when you're checking solid clearances, you're miking the crank, you're miking the rods, you're measuring everything, and verifying bore. All that stuff takes time to do. I mean, yeah, if you're just going to run a motor, you can rip it down, throw some new rings in it, bearings, gaskets, slap it back together, and it should run fine. But if I was doing this motor for myself, yeah. But when I work on other people's stuff, I take the extra time and make sure it's going to be right, because I don't want to see it back again other than to see it running in the car. That's how I roll. So, the old saying is, you always got time. There's always enough time to redo it, but never enough time to do it right the first time. So I guess I do it right the first time, and we don't have to worry about it. So anyway, I want to get these rocker arms and that on, and yeah, get those on, and then I'm going to finish up this timing set. Well, we're getting closer. I got to put the oil pan and oil pump on, which I'm probably still going to do yet tonight. But that's where we're getting. So I figured I've done enough of these short little videos, put it together, because next video on this, it'll be on the run stand. So I guess everybody, stay tuned. Hopefully this weekend this thing's running. So, alright, thanks for watching.